I think I like this film.
The laser is 'cause I like sci-fi. The dude is 'cause I am a rad guy. 99 is 'cause I like Wayne Gretzky. That's why I'm Lazy Dude 99. Lazy time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review and talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the review. Hey everybody, I'm Lazy Dude 99. Welcome to another Lazy Dude review. We're looking at The Amazing Spider-Man 2. What do you know, that rhymed. Anyway, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, of course, starring Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. We also have Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn, Jamie Foxx as Electro. And yeah, that's the gist of it, so let's dive into this review. The story of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 involves Peter Parker, who he's Spider-Man, and he loves it, and he's doing a great job, and some of the city is starting to respect him now as a superhero. Of course, there's still some detractors, but the main thing that he is struggling with is his relationship with Gwen Stacy, because he made a promise to Gwen Stacy's father in the first film. Spoilers if you haven't seen the first film, but why would you be watching a review of the second film if you haven't seen the first film? Anyway, he promised Gwen's father that he'd leave her out of his life, to keep her safe. And since he's dating Gwen Stacy, he keeps on seeing Gwen's father and feeling like he's breaking his promise and he's gonna get her killed. And so you have tension on Gwen and Peter's relationship. Then you have Jamie Foxx playing Max Dillon, a guy who is saved by Spider-Man, who becomes utterly obsessed with him and not really well in the head. You also have Harry Osborn, played by Dane DeHaan, returning back to New York to see his father, played by Chris Cooper, Norman Osborn, who is dying, and that he has to deal with that and find out that this disease that his father's dying from is a disease that he will have. And so he has to find a way to not die himself. And throughout their movie, there's action, there's love, there's funny moments, there's silly moments, there's great characters, there's weird characters, there's stuff that I scratch my head at, and there's all this stuff bundled into this one movie where I'm just like, why? I don't know how to feel about this movie. Now, let me just say that this isn't going to be like my Iron Man 3 review where I utterly thrash this movie, because I don't hate it. I actually like this movie. It will be getting an above average rating, but there are a lot of problems with it, and I want to appeal to the movie critics, because I see a lot of comic book fans thrashing some movie critics. Like, those critics don't know what they're talking about. They're just stupid, or they don't know it. A lot of those critics do have some major points to them that I don't think enough comic book fans are giving credit. First, the major problem with this film is its pacing. It's all over the place. And just so you guys know, this is going to be a spoiler-full review, because I'm a little late with this because I had trouble with my top 5 movie trailers video that I was working on. It took a while, copyright stuff. Anyway, don't need to go into the whole thing. But the thing is that I'm going to talk about spoilers the whole way through this review, so be warned. But anyway, the thing that this movie's big problem is, it's, as a lot of people are saying, it's the same problems as Spider-Man 3. Too much stuff crammed in there, and it takes focus away from other things. Now, unlike Spider-Man 3, the actors and the acting is good and solid, and the way the story is carried through our actors is actually well done. So it's not like Spider-Man 3 where the actors were acting stupid and the story was acting stupid and all over the place. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where the story is all over the place, but the acting is solid, the characters we like, and that's what makes it a little more uneasy for me. I'll just start with my two favorites, of course, being Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. I love their relationship. I will say, in the beginning, when he dumps her in the beginning, I'm like, why were you why did they have them together in the first place? Couldn't they have just picked off where the first one ended and be like, I thought we could be together, but I can't do that. And they're trying to just be friends, and then tension grows because they have more than friends' feelings for each other. I thought that would have been a better way to go, because as it stands, in the beginning, they're dating, and then like in the first 10 minutes, he dumps her, and then they kind of get there later at the end, and then there's this whole stuff going on, and then... Yeah. The thing is, though, while the relationship, the way it was handled was weird, I like their characters. I like them as a couple, and you can totally tell that they're a real couple in real life. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, they're really dating, so you can totally tell the chemistry that they have with each other. It's great. I love how good of chemistry they have with each other. They really seem like a real couple that are going through these real trials. And let me just say, it is so hard to get the audience to actually care about the love relationship, because it's usually botched so badly in superhero movies. Even movies that I love, like Batman Begins, I don't really like the love story at all, because I don't feel there's any build-up to it. It comes kind of right out of nowhere. Here, I'm really interested to see these two characters who love each other in this hard situation, and I want to see them how they get through it. The uneasy stuff happens with the main villains, Electro and Green Goblin. There should have been one villain. I mean, there's this whole other thing with the Rhino, which I don't even want to get into, because it comes right at... The Rhino is like advertised so much in all of these trailers, and then and he's not even in the movie till the end. I mean, the character's in the beginning of the movie. But okay, I just want to say one thing that bothered me with that truck chase sequence in the very beginning was you have this the Rhino played by Paul Giamatti, and he's driving this truck. He's like, he's being crazy terrorist guy, Paul Giamatti. And Spider-Man's messing with him. He's like, oh, hey, why don't you pull over? And we'll, he's quipping, and they're funny quips. But then, he jumps out of the way, and the car and this truck smashes super hard into two cars, just pulverizes them. And I'm thinking, well, those people are dead because Spider-Man's goofing off. I like, as much as I like Spider-Man goofing off, he's goofs off, but he does it while taking the bad guy down. Here he was just antagonizing the bad guy, and I think he could have taken him down a lot quicker. But anyway, he's just, the character's thrown in there, and then at the end he's brought in for a quick end scene kind of thing they show in the trailer that everyone's complaining about, and I think, yeah, that's stupid. Why would you show that? Anyways, though, Electro and... Okay, I was really like, oh man, they're really Batman Forever-ing Electro. They are! It's just, he's basically how the Riddler was at the beginning of Batman Forever. Because he's obsessed with Spider-Man, and he's like, talking to Spider-Man. And I don't get why they put that little thing in his teeth. Like, they put that little black thing in his teeth and moved his teeth apart. And then when he becomes Electro, it breaks, and then his teeth are like kind of like all one. I'm just like... Why? What was the point? Just to make him look more pathetic? The thing is, though, he's too pathetic. He's too pathetic! My favorite version of Electro comes from the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. Because he was just a regular guy, he was an electrician, a regular guy, had a regular life. Then he falls into this horrid accident that changes him into this living electric battery, and he's so overcome with rage and anger that he lets it get to him and turn him into a supervillain. Here we have Electro, who's a big Spider-Man fanboy, and he thinks that he's Spider-Man's best friend, so he's a little nutso already. And then when he gets all these electric powers happening to him, and Spider-Man doesn't recognize him, you don't remember me? And he's like, and then when he's on the big screen, he's like, they're all watching me. I'm somebody. Don't like that. I like villains who are menacing. I would be okay, and they try to make him menacing, like that whole thing was like, I want to know how powerful I am too. A world without power, without control, without the Spider-Man. I thought, oh man, when he's saying that in that part of the movie, I'm like, oh man, he's gonna break out of these restraints and go do some damage, and nope. I'm like, okay, we'll keep you in that container until we need you. See you, Electro. I don't really have that much of a problem with Electro because the effects and the action scenes are absolutely great. They're great. Some of the... I want to say the best action sequence, but I can't say that yet because I don't think it's as memorable as the Doc Ock Spider-Man train fight. I don't think it's that, but the effects are the best. But I don't think it's as memorable, maybe. But there's still great fight sequences and all the way through. They did a great job with that. I think that they're the second favorites only to the Spider-Man 2 fight sequence. I don't have the biggest problem with Electro because I kind of did by the end kind of like his character and how powerful he was. Green Goblin's my biggest problem. First of all, they just killed Norman Osborn. Yep. He's dead. And I was thinking like they were going to fake his death and then Harry was going to go downstairs and he would basically be his father's pawn. But no, he's dead. And Harry's the Green Goblin. Now, on the one hand, I'm thinking, well, I'd be okay with this because Harry has been the Green Goblin before. And it's not that big of a surprise if he was. And I think it's their way of trying to differentiate themselves from the original Spider-Man, so they don't just have Norman Osborn as Green Goblin again. But it's thrown in here. There's more attention thrown Electro's way, and Harry's turn from being against Spider-Man is very, very forced. And, okay, for example, Harry finds out that his dad's dying of this disease and it's hereditary. And so he's like, I gotta find a way to save myself. And he thinks Spider-Man's blood might be able to save him. And he's like, I need it now. And Spider-Man's like, look, I gotta make sure that we're compatible and that whatever I do to you doesn't make you worse. He's like, worse? I'm dying. I'm like, you're not dead! I mean, your father was, 40, 50 years old before he died? I mean, I think you at least have time, Harry, to wait until he realizes that it's gonna work or not. Why are you in such a hurry? Maybe they said something like, I've done things to make sure I live this long, but you won't live another year or something. Maybe he said something like that. I don't think so. If he did, correct me in the comments on that. Harry Osborn is shoehorned in here. They should have had one villain. Electro, Green Goblin. One, not both. Because they team up and then you have... It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right because Green Goblin just comes and kills Gwen Stacy. Which, by the way, is the best scene in the movie. I won't doubt that. The way they portray it and how Spider-Man is doing every single thing in his power to try to save her, and he comes up that close. That short. Great. It was great. Though I did get a feeling like, what, are we gonna kill a Stacy every film now? You know, Gwen's father, Gwen, is Gwen's brother gonna be dead in the next film? But that entire sequence, it's heart-wrenching, it's amazing, and I don't care that it wasn't on the bridge. The way they shot it, when he went down and he's holding Gwen, we've seen this. This was probably the surprise for non-comic book fans, because the way they shot it, there was like, Gwen, and in any other movie, this would be when she's like, ugh, and opens her eyes and is like, you saved me. But no, they hold on that moment when she would be opening her eyes and being alive and saved in any other movie, and she doesn't. They hold on that for a very long time, just to fool the audience that aren't comic fans again. Maybe she won't die. Then she dies. I'm sorry to see Emma Stone go. However, to be fair, she probably won't leave the franchise. She'll probably show up in some flashback of his, or maybe he'll start seeing Gwen's face around and not her father's. Or maybe her father will be standing there with Gwen and they'll both be like,
But he'll be like this, and she'll be like, yeah, don't be so hard on me. He's like, no, he promised me to leave you alone, and now we're both ghosts following him around. Ah, for pity's sake. Now he has to take a dump. In any case, her death is handled well. And the thing that's not handled is Green Goblin's motivation. If he had been like... If the movie had just been about Green Goblin, and I know they wanted to try some new villains so it doesn't look like they're ripping off the Sam Raimi films. I know that. But you can't be afraid about going up against the past films. You can't be. When Christopher Nolan put the Joker in his film, he made it the Joker completely a character of his own style and his own movie, and he wasn't afraid of what came before it with Jack Nicholson or even the animated. He just did his Joker. This movie shouldn't have been afraid to be like, oh, well, if we do our Green Goblin, then that's going to make their Green Goblin compare and contrast. And so we'll throw another villain in there so we can have two and double our... No! I think this movie should have ended where Spider-Man 2 ended. If you remember Spider-Man 2, Harry just found out everything. And he found out that his father was a Green Goblin. And he was ready to take on the Goblin Mantle of his own. This movie should have ended there. Maybe it should have ended with Peter Parker, like, and him talking to each other, where Peter Parker knows that he's behind some things, and he's like, well, go ahead and try to prove it. I'm the new head of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. You're just a young kid in Queens. What are you going to do? Something like that, and, building up the third movie. Now, I know the third movie, they're wanting to do Venom, and they're wanting to do the Secret Six. But in order for this thing to work, they should have got rid of Electro or got rid of Green Goblin or set up Green Goblin for his film of his own. This feels, like a lot of people have said, like if the Joker was tacked on to some other movie that had, like, Firefly as the villain. Now, some people might make the argument, like, The Dark Knight had Two-Faces tacked on to the end of their movie, which, okay, you can argue that. But out of Two-Face and Joker, everyone will say that the Joker is Batman's biggest villain. Two-Face will always be second to the Joker. So the fact that Two-Face is kind of into the end, and the fact that it was Harvey Dent through most of it, that he had a character arc that moved him into Two-Face, I wouldn't say that's shoehorning him in there, because we've had this whole arc with him. Now, Dane DeHaan is actually really good as Harry Osborn. I buy that he can actually be Harry Osborn and be a Green Goblin. I buy it. I think he's a great Harry Osborn. I think actually the scenes with him and Andrew Garfield are actually pretty good. But I don't like the Goblin look, to be frank. I think he looks like a troll. And I know he's supposed to look like a goblin, but I don't know what I want, because I know people don't like Dafoe's mask. Fair enough. And I know a rubber mask would make him look like Jim Carrey in The Mask. But the way he looks, there's something off about it. I like the suit and the glider, but even that's tacked on. I don't like things being tacked on. I want them to be fully developed. And you know what? I'm just going to say it right now. I don't like that there are Doc Ock arms and Vulture wings in the... Well, Vulture I don't really care about. But I don't like that there's Doc Ock arms in that vault area. Because, to me, I don't think... Okay, who are they going to... In the end, we see that Green Goblin is actually going to be looking for people to get a team of supervillains. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, Doc Ock, is he an assassin? Is he a terrorist? Is he a hitman? No. He was a scientist that had an accident go horribly wrong. But if they are choosing people to put in those weapon suits, the Doc Ock arms and the Vulture wings, why would they choose a scientist? Why wouldn't they choose a trained killer? It makes no sense why Doc Ock's arm would be given to this scientist. It doesn't make any sense why that would happen. And I want Doc Ock to be in this story as fully Dr. Octopus, as Otto Octavius. And maybe when Otto Octavius, he'll come in, he'll be sly and play to Green Goblin's modes and then beat the crap out of him and take over the operation. Maybe their Dr. Octopus will be amazing. I don't know. I'm just saying that it doesn't fully make sense, and I would rather them be just different accidents and not... Like, okay, Rhino being made by the bad guys, I'm fine with. I'd be fine with Sandman being made by the bad guys. I'd be fine with a lot of them being made by the bad guys. Dr. Octopus, no. Because I feel like he was a self-made man that, through an horrible accident, allowed this stuff to happen to him. And I don't really like that. Now, what do I like about this movie? As I said, I like Andrew Garfield, and I like Emma Stone, and I like the action scenes. They're great. The pacing is just all over in this movie. They throw so many stuff at you at once without giving you a moment to breathe or to process things. And so many things just happen and then they're gone. We have Peter's thing with his dad that happens in the beginning. There's a whole plane fight scene, which is actually kind of cool. And then it's over. Then Peter finds out something about his dad and goes to this train thing. And I don't know what that has any relevance on the plot. Really, I guess is building up stuff for the next movie. Maybe it's the Venom suit or something. But I don't really get what the point of it is. Now, that being said, it's just a clustered film. That's what it is. Now, I like the film. I do. But I don't think when people are saying that it's the greatest film, no, it's not the greatest. There's a lot of pacing problems. There's a lot of great moments in there. Gwen's death is heartbreakingly tragic. Andrew Garfield is a tortured but entertaining Peter Parker. There's a lot of good things about it. There's a lot of things that kind of bug me. So I will say that I like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I will be buying it when it comes out on DVD. But besides that, I'm going to be giving The Amazing Spider-Man 2... 6.5 out of 10. It's a good movie. It's an amazing movie. The pacing problems bog it down a lot, but I think the actors that carry these performances are actually the things that carry it all the way to the end. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm LaserDude99, and if I don't like it, it's not worth it. And, yeah. See you around.
Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.